to what got you in the restaurant in the first place here. Let's talk about what got you onto The Amazing Race because, I mean, Natalie, you've had a really interesting journey with reality TV over the past decade. It's been a while since we've seen you on our screens. I know that you've done, your own work behind the scenes. So I'm curious, from your perspective, what was your reaction? You were asked to do this, and was Stephanie always going to be your partner?
Yes, Steph was always going to be my partner. My other option was my mom, but me and my mom would have murdered each other. But it was so interesting because I was originally supposed to be on The Amazing Race, not Big Brother. So, my two girlfriends did The Amazing Race, Krista and Tiffany. We were Jets cheerleaders together. So, I was looking for a new job. I was working at a nonprofit and I was ready for something new. And I love my job, but I was like, it's ready. I'm ready for something, a new transition to another chapter. And my teammates, Krista and Tiffany, submitted me for The Amazing Race. I wasn't a good fit. But then they put me on Big Brother, which was perfect because I was a good fit for it. Anyways, after Big Brother, I asked Jesse, I was like, Jesse, like, I would love to do The Amazing Race with my sister or my mom. Anyways, he's like, right now is not like the right time. 9 years later, Jesse calls me. He's like, I want you and your sister or you and your mom for The Amazing Race. Would you still want to do it? And I said, absolutely. Let me call my mom and my sister. My sister was a hard sell though. At first, she's like, no. I was like, watch the show and then make up your mind.
Yeah, so then, Steph, what was it like from your perspective? Because obviously you have a senior sister in the limelight for a number of reasons. Was there any sort of feeling one way or the other for putting yourself in the limelight now?
No, it wasn't anything about putting myself like in the limelight. It was just more so about the nature of the game. And I had seen how Big Brother was and I had seen how the challenge was. And socially, I didn't want to play a social game. I just really wanted to be a competitor. And so she gave me a call and I remember exactly where I was. I was like hanging out with a friend and he had a house right on the beach. And then I was like, hey, I got to step out. My sister's calling me. And then I just remember kind of like, having this conversation, looking at the ocean and being like, you're out of your mind. I'm not doing this. She's like, please go watch it. So I watched it and then I was like hooked. I was like, wait a second. This is wholesome. It's got all the elements. It's got drama, it's got excitement, it's got relationship with yourself and someone else and like the trials and tribulation of growing with yourself and trusting your partner and communicating and then also doing it like all over the world. And so I was like, and then I couldn't stop watching it. And so I kept watching it. And then finally I was like, all right, I'm in, let's do it. So it was, and then right after that, after I decided, I started training and working out. And I was sold immediately after. I think the first one I saw was season 34
Okay.
or
Good
30,
season for Big Brother teams, yeah.
30. It was 34 or 35 that I started watching Amazing Race. It was when the two computer scientists brother won. I think that was
35, Greg and John,
yeah,
yeah.
35. Amazing season. Really good cast. So I was like, all right, let's do this. But I didn't know that it was going to be a Big Brother season. So I got tricked. I got tricked.
Well, let's fast forward from the beginning to the end here because what I noticed was that at least from our perspective, it seemed like the pressure was pretty much mounting from the moment you got snipped at the last minute from getting on that first flight. And we saw a lot of butting heads between the two of you. Now, what I'm curious about is was that something that like had been done in previous legs and we just didn't see, or did this feel like a unique situation where due to the day, due to the pressure, the two of you were more at odds than you usually were?
So
Uh,
we were so used to being at the top. So we always knew, like, yeah, you are, no matter what, you're always, even if you're in first, second, third, fourth, fifth place, you're fighting as if you're in last place. So no matter what, there's no like, oh, I'm comfortable because I'm in third place. No, you're always stressed. But we always had the cushion of being like top three, top two, top five, top one. Like we had that cushion. We were not used to competing in the bottom of the pack, final three, final two. So we got a little bit, I think, more nervous. And, Steph under pressure doesn't communicate. So I'm an over communicator, Steph's an under communicator. So because we have this new element of new stress, we weren't really able to mesh and like get our team bond and communication up like the other legs. Yeah, like there, no matter what, every team's gonna have like miscommunication here and there, but we never had like a blowout fight that was ridiculous, right? We never were like going at each other's throats. Like, of course, we had conflict here and there, but not much. Like, we got a pretty accurate edit as to how we played, right? But it was difficult being at the bottom, and we were not used to that additional stress. So, both of us kind of got, Steph like clammed up. She wasn't communicating at all. I was extra stressed, so I was high strung. So, it was really difficult to get back to, that playing field that where we have that perfect communication.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that we even get a little bit of that, miscommunication last leg. I mean, Steph, I got to get into your thoughts about this moment where, you come out of the roadblock and it's like, oh, yeah, we're all agreeing to work together. Great. And, this is one of the first and really only times that this train wreck alliance is quote unquote tested. Give me your perspective on this.
So I am an I initially am a very independent person, so it was a little tough for me to be in such a strong alliance. Like at the end of the day, you get to meet people, and then you're like, oh my God, okay, these people are great. But my initial strategy was to um just do our own thing and kind of do what like Izzy and Paige were doing, just kind of learning from their mistakes, being solo and doing that. But alliances do help you out in the beginning, especially like when you're all kind of just racing around. But I think the alliance at some point did deter our time. Like when we had to drive, like when Nat agreed to like drive back and look for Joseph and Adam. And then at some point, like I wanted to just start working alone. And I think finding that balance of like working with a team and then also running your own race was like something that we were uh kind of like working out in our minds, and then also kind of being a pushover at the ticket counter when we had to get that flight to Romania. I think Nat and I didn't really voice ourselves the way that we should have, and I think that's what really screwed us over.
Yeah, so Natalie, I want to get it from your perspective because I mean, coming in, whether you or not you knew it was a Big Brother season, I'm sure you were looking around and being like, the vast majority of these people played at least 5 years after I did. You came in, I think, definitively with the least connections out of this cast. So talk to me a bit about dealing with that, and maybe you're surprised with the fact of like, hey, you get into one of the most concrete alliances in the race despite not having any of those connections.
So I was honestly I was bummed when I found it was the Big Brother season. I was like, ugh, because my rookie season on Big Brother, my first season and only season on Big Brother was the twist with the vets. So with the returning players. So I'm like, oh my gosh, when am I gonna catch a break? But no, to answer your question, playing with the Big Brother players and not really knowing anyone at first, I was like, oh, we're screwed. They're all in pre-game alliances, which I knew. I heard things, they're all friends. They've all played together. They've all hung out together. They've all gone to events together, traveled, on vacations together. So me and my sister were like, ooh. So I was just hoping that, my sister's newness and her kindness and also, my social game could get us far and build those relationships. So that is one of my biggest strengths is my social game. So I knew that I had this in the bag to like become friends with people, but I didn't know if anyone just wanted to target me or get me out. You don't know. So at first, you have to put the feelers out there. You have to see. I knew who Kat was. I knew who Hannah was. I knew who Enzo was. But I didn't know if they would have my back or not because we weren't like friends. I'm not talking to them every day. I'm not very close. I wasn't very close with them. Now I am. But no, it was definitely a unique twist for me. I was a little bit bummed, but pleasantly surprised because a lot of the players wanted to work with us. They all loved us because they're like so they didn't air this. But when they had the express pass to give, when Kylan and Taylor had the express pass to give a team, we all got to campaign. So Phil gave us a
Oh,
moment. Phil gave us a moment.
Nat was the first to campaign.
I
She was
raised my hand so fast.
no
Like,
one no one spoke for like a few seconds, and that was like, well, I'm gonna give it a shot. And she was the first one to talk. She's like, listen, we don't have an alliance. We don't know anyone. So like, if you help us out, you have like our undying loyalty. And then all of a sudden, everyone starts speaking out. We're like, oh. And then eventually, Jag and Jazz gave a really great speech, and whatever happened there, and then they got the express pass. But I think we told Taylor talked to us. She's like, if Jag and Jazz hadn't given their speech, like we would have given you the express pass.
yeah. Yeah.
wow. Well, I'm really intrigued as well because I mean, this alliance pays off in spades in one particular leg when you get this early birthday gift. On the one hand, yes, that's fantastic. But on the other hand, I don't know, did you ever feel like beholden to Jag and Jess as a result? Like did you ever feel a certain way about them after like this is like a big gesture for the two of you?
Yeah. Well,
No,
so So for me, it's like we had just given that written out directions. No other team in the history of 38 seasons of The Amazing Race has ever written out directions for other teams, and we did it for Jag and Jazz, and we did it for Joseph and Adam. So it wasn't like we owed them, they owed us. It was very much everyone's helping each other. So we were also helping and bringing value to our alliance. So they were paying it forward. And they said that too on the episode, like they did help us with the directions, and we were all just helping each other out. So I felt like that was a really nice gesture for them to do and like to show us like, like you've helped us, we've helped you, and like we're also going to be returning the favor. So that was a really nice experience for me. I loved it because it was my birthday gift. I'm going to get that $2,500 and buy myself a nice little gift. So I really did like that.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
it also helped us too having this alliance because we didn't get U-turned. We were one of the strong girl teams, and people were saying that, right? Even the other contestants, other teams have told us this even after the race. You girls, we couldn't believe when you got eliminated, right? We thought you girls were going to make it towards that to the end. So, we didn't get U-turned on that U-turn board. So no matter what, your alliances do help you, and being in, good graces with other teams does help you when it comes to the U-turn board, when it comes to different things as well. And if someone wants to help you. So, there's times where there's teams that don't want to help you, or there's times where also you're in a new country and, you're asking strangers for their phones, for directions. And a
mm.
lot of these people in other countries don't speak the language, and a lot of times they don't want to help you. So that's when an alliance also, helps you out when, you're really stranded and stuck and you don't have an alternative.
Well, last thing I want to ask is that, you were the yin yang sissies. So I want to hear from each of you about what you learned about the yin to your yang. From each of you, what's the thing you learned most about the other racing around Europe together? Steph, let's start with you.
Yeah, I learned that Natalie she's more intuitive than she gives herself credit for. Like there's a lot of moments where it was kind of like a pivotal decision where it came to doing a challenge or this and that, and Nat made the right decision of figuring out what her strengths are and what roadblock or what detour we needed to choose or whatever decision that was. And so Nat is really intuitive, and she's more analytical than she gives herself credit for.
What
Thanks.
about you, Natalie?
Well, I mean, I already know my sister's greatness. I already know my sister is the GOAT, like I'm a little sister. So like you view and we were raised in a single parent household. So I
Mm.
viewed my sister as always like a parent to me, as also a sister. So I always looked up to her. I always leaned and relied on her for everything. I know that if I can't do something, my sister can. My sister is someone that in my brain and factually, she can really do everything she sets her mind to. So that was for me, my learning lesson was making sure it was more for me to make sure that I was able to play at my sister's level and elevate at her level. So that's really what I had to learn because my sister is very strong. She can do everything she sets her mind to. She can drive stick shift. She was keeping up with the guys, right?
Yeah.
Where I'm a 4'11" tiny little thing. I'm just hanging on here. But although I do have my strengths, we were able to learn on the show as well and competing where her strengths are, where my weaknesses are, and also like how to come together. And
Mm.
I'm a very social person, social player. And Steph is, she's that brute force. She's able to do what the guys can do physically that I can't do and that a lot of the women can't do as quickly as the men. So it was really just really cool to combine our forces. And what I learned the most of this is just how much I love my sister and how amazing she is as a friend because we did get our friendship out of this. So I'm just really proud of my sister. I'm proud of myself. And I just love, like, I'm so grateful that we did this.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's a lot to juggle, right? Even
Yeah.
if you're trying to, whether it be discs or whether it be, everything that's going on. But I think, especially seeing you two from the beginning and how you even pointed out on the mat, like people don't usually look at us and see sisters, but like
Yeah.
getting to watch your bond over the course of this race. I mean, this is the entire reason for the season, even if you didn't think that's what the season would be. And so I want to thank the two of you. Obviously, Natalie, to your point, it's been a long time coming. Keep representing for the Jets, former Jets cheerleaders, keep paying it forward. But it was such a great opportunity to get to, there we go, to get to see you again after such a long time. Stephanie, to get to meet you too through all this. This was truly a pleasure, not only to watch you over the course of the race, but to talk with you today.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much. It was
guys.
really fun talking to you.
Of course, likewise. All the best to you and yours and the family, and cannot wait to see what happens next with the two of you. Yes,
Bye,
there we go.
guys.
Amazing pup race coming soon.
Yeah.
Have a good one, you
Bye
two.
bye.
Bye.